Okay, Bernadette, thank you so much for the session today. I thought it was really successful. I always love when we get to come over here to this short game area and talk a little bit about it, because I think we get really good bang for your buck in terms of the amount of time that you spend on it and the results that you see on the golf course. So we came over to this area and you said, I'm just not sure what I'm doing. I chip it, it's hit or miss. And so we wanted to give you a couple really good keys that you could use to know every time that you're in this sort of area here with a short shot to hit towards the flag, what couple steps we can take to be successful. So the couple things that I recommended, if we're here in this sort of spot where we don't have a ton of grass to carry, we want to look at something like a pitching wedge, or you can certainly use a sand wedge or an 8-iron or something like that. All of those clubs will work. They'll just differ with how far the ball will run out. And the couple of keys for hitting this shot well are, we want to feel like there's about 60% of our leg on our left leg. So just a little bit lean towards the target in this way. We're going to get our hands sort of like where the hands are sitting, even with our left thigh. Ball's still fairly central. And we want to get our feet close together with our left foot just a little bit splayed. And the purpose of all that is that we can now make a small stroke back and through, kind of like our putting motion, brush that grass and create a little bit of a descending or a downward blow on the ball to help kind of pop this ball out towards the flag. And if we do that with our putting stroke here in our pitching wedge, lean a little bit, hands on our thigh, small stroke back and through, we're almost always going to hit an okay shot. That one was not very good, to be honest with you. Hold on, I got to do one better than that. That's more like it. Okay, popped a little left, but that's the idea. And now you can do that with your sand wedge. And the only difference is it will go a little bit higher and stop a little bit faster. And again, you can do that with your 6, 7, or 8-iron, and those will just simply go a little bit further, come out a little bit hotter, and run a little bit more. And then we talked about a little bit further distances. And the further that we go back, the only changes really that we make is we allow that club to come up a little bit higher, right? And when that happens, it feels a little bit less like a putting stroke, turns into a little bit more of a golf stroke. But all the rest of the stuff will stay similar. We're still getting 60% of our weight here. We're still getting our left thigh here. We're just allowing that club to come up a little bit more and still brushing that grass. Now you do need to keep that confidence going, because I know you talked a little bit about that. Well, I've hit so many that have gone over the green, right? But what's really important, if you take this approach, a little weight forward, hands on our thighs, as long as we brush that grass and allow that club to keep swinging, the ball always comes out. It may not be perfect, but it won't necessarily do those thin shots. Those thin shots, typically speaking, occur when we stop our body and feel nervous. So especially if we were in the setup that you were using before, feet a little wide, hands out this way, if we stop, it exposes the blade of the club and we tend to hit it with that thin part. If we get on top of it, our shaft a little bit up, we almost always make better contact and create better shots. Now the other shot that we talked about there was our high shot. In that instance, we do probably want to use our sand wedge. Sometimes we'll use our pitching wedge, but when we start to do that, now we don't get our hands ahead of the ball because we want to maintain all of the loft on that golf club. So now we get our hands more even with our belly button, and then we really have to allow that club to come up nice and high and brush on through that shot. Everything else is, again, going to stay fairly constant. Does that make sense?
Perfect.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Really enjoyed it.
Thank you so much, Jordan.
No problem.
So you're going to